Hi, this is Dr. Edwin. In this video, I'm going to discuss about xylography, which is being done with the help of CBCT. In one of the initial videos we posted in YouTube channel, we spoke about xylography which is being done with the help of an OPG. So today we are going to see about a 3D representation of a xylography. So basically, a xylography is a unique method to examine the salivary glands radiographically. It involves the injection of a small amount of contrast medium into the duct of a major salivary gland, followed by plain radiograph like OPG if in case of a 2D imaging, or CBCT in case of a 3D imaging. So basically it includes few steps to perform a xylography. The first one is to examine the gland thoroughly to find out whether there is any acute infection, which is a contraindication in case of a xylography. Second step is to locate the ductal orifice. Third one is to dilate the duct using lacrimal probe. Fourth one is to inject the dye using a xylography cannula. Then the fifth one is to image it with the help of a CBCT. So once you take a CBCT radiograph after injecting a contrast medium, you will get an image like this. This image includes a panoramic view, a 3D reconstructed view, a tangential, cross-sectional and an axial view. So the first one we have to check is the panoramic view. As you can see, the panoramic view is nothing but a representation of an OPG so that we can easily correlate what we are seeing through. You can see the arrow which I am pointing here. So this is the xylography cannula which is being used, and it is also being visualized in a CBCT. So this is the initial part of it. Until here the xylographic cannula is present. Okay. After which we have a duct, and the duct leads to the gland. So this we can see in an OPG, but the problem is we are seeing in a two-dimensional way. So we cannot examine each and every gland separately, or we cannot examine each and every duct separately. So in order to view that, we have taken a CBCT to have a thorough knowledge or understanding about the ductal architecture. So this is the slicing window which you can use, and whenever you are removing the slicing window, as I have mentioned before, the image will be shown accordingly. If I am keeping it over the 3/6, automatically the tangential view of the 3/6 will be shown here, the cross-sectional view will be shown here, as well as the axial view will be shown separately. And also we can see that exactly at which place we are, we can correlate with the 3D reconstructed image. So it helps as a guideline. So let's start from the beginning. Okay. So basically the submandibular gland has a gland on either side of the mandible, angle of the mandibular region. So the gland is associated with the ductal architecture, and the ductal opening is present in the floor of the mouth on either side of the lingual frenum. So to start with, let's visualize the radiographic structure which is present here. So what you are seeing here is the xylographic cannula. So if you move this over that, you can see the xylographic cannula in different slices. So as you go down, we can reach the end of the xylographic cannula where the ductal orifice will be beginning with. So now we are at the floor of the mouth. You can see the tooth, and by this level you can understand that we have reached the floor of the mouth. So now by changing this angulation, you can see when I'm moving this cursor here, the dotted lines have been tilting accordingly. So that indicates which slices are we going through. So when you adjust like that, you will be able to see the exact ductal pattern. So this is the orifice, and this is the distal portion of the Warthen's duct. So we can trace the Warthen's duct now. We are going little more posteriorly, and we are able to see the glandular structure. And you can also cross check with the cross-sectional view as well as the axial view. So this dot which you are seeing here is the duct which you are seeing. Okay, so and this appears like a dot mainly because we are viewing it in a 90 degree, so it appears like a small dot. In an axial view you can see it as a ductal pattern. Okay, so now we can change the angulation so that we can see the entire duct as well as the glandular architecture. So you can see here, till here we have the xylographic cannula, and from here the orifice begins. Then we have the distal portion of the duct, then the duct goes all over here, posteriorly it runs, and it's joined with the submandibular gland. So this portion of the duct, what you're looking at, is called as the proximal portion of the duct. The point of attachment of the duct to the gland is called the proximal portion of the duct. So if any cylolith is present in the proximal portion, it will be very difficult to retrieve it. Whereas if it is in the distal portion, it is easier to retrieve it by surgical opening. So this end, if you see in all different views, you can see that the main duct is getting divided into two different accessory ducts. Can you see that? You can see here two accessory ducts. So if you try to follow that, it will keep on multiplying into many small branches. Okay, so this is very useful in case of multiple cylolith which is present within the glandular structure. You can track the entire ductal architecture and find each and every stones which is present inside. Or you can also understand the ductal architecture and find out whether there is any hypertrophy or any destruction of the gland or any tumor which has been present inside, etc. In some rare cases, we have even found an accessory duct or even an accessory gland associated with the submandibular gland. So it will be very interesting to view such structure in a 3D reconstructed images also. So this is the 3D reconstructed image which gives you an entire gland as well as the ductal architecture. So first let's finish the tangential view. So you can move through the tangential view by moving the cursor up and down. So when you are doing it like this, you can cross check with your 3D reconstructed image that which exact slice are we going through. You can see the section is moving here, the yellow colored one. Can you appreciate that one slicing is moving forward now and it is going backward. Okay, we are moving from side to side. Okay, so we can check each and every slices for a pathology. You can see appreciate the entire ductal system as well as the small accessory branches which has been present within the gland very clearly. So if at all you have any doubt, for example when you are here, you can see more amount of contrast agent. So if you click there, automatically it gives you the other views of the particular area of interest. So you can see in cross-sectional view as well as in the axial view. So in case of a two-dimensional view, this is not possible. So if you see any collection of a contrast agent, you call it as synectasis in two-dimensional radiographs. So that indicates a destruction of the acina structures, which eventually leads to an accumulation of contrast agent which we have injected. So in CBCT, we can easily find out whether it is actually a synectasis, that is a collection of duct in the destruction of the gland, or it is just a branch of the salivary duct which we are seeing it at 90 degree. So this much clarity you will not get in any other imaging modality, even though xylography is a little technique sensitive, but it gives an excellent result when you are expert at it. So the easier way to view the entire gland is an axial view, because you can easily correlate what you are going through. As you can see, the white dots are the terminal branches from where again a small branches arises. So it appears as if it is a synectasis, but actually in this case the gland has not been affected. We can see an healthy gland. You have to be very patient and go through each and every slicer separately to understand the entire glandular architecture. So you have to always cross check with cross-sectional as well as your tangential and axial view in case of any doubt of any pathology. So this is a patient actually came to us with a complaint of mild pain and tingling sensation in her floor of the mouth. The complaint was very atypical, and on examination of the salivary gland we could find that her salivary flow is to some extent normal, but she also reported that her amount of water consumption is very less. So we thought of doing a xylography to find out whether there is any stricture within the ductal architecture, which eventually might cause some amount of itching or tingling sensation in some patients, because the area where she pointed out is exactly the area where the ductal architecture is present. So once we did a xylography, we could feel some amount of the contrast agent getting stagnant next to the orifice, that is in the proximal region, where there is a bend normally as an anatomical structure. So once we did that xylography, after that we couldn't find much of findings like any stones or any strictures. But after the xylography procedure has been done, the patient, when we followed up the patient a day later, she tells that after that xylography procedure she didn't had any complications. She didn't had the previous pain which she reported, and her chief complaint was being addressed properly. So that indicates that the patient would have had a mucus plug in any part of the ductal architecture. And when we are doing that xylography, when we are pushing that contrast agent, sometimes some amount of mucus plug would have got cleared out, because when you push the contrast agent within the gland, what happens is the gland will start pushing it outside. So the saliva along with the contrast agent, everything will be coming out of it once you finish the xylography procedure. So that has been done mainly by giving a lemon, and we'll try to stimulate the salivary flow, and we'll try to milk the gland to get all the contrast agent outside. So when we are doing that, in that process, if there is any small blockage, automatically it would have got cleared up. So sometimes in some cases like this, the xylography will act as a therapeutic measure also. So I hope you understood about the xylography procedure, and I'll just show you some more slices so that it will be interesting. So this 3D reconstruction, you can mainly use it for understanding purpose, but you can't find any pathology from that, because it is just a reconstructed one. It's not an actual image. Okay, so if you want to find the real findings, you have to go through this tangential, cross-sectional and axial views. And if you want to find exactly where you are viewing it, you can always orient yourself with the help of a 3D reconstructed image, and you can even crop those images to have a better clarification. I'll just show you now. So now we have cropped the image into a slices so that it gives you a clear idea. Okay, you can see the floor of the mouth, the duct is coming like this, and this area looks a bit stiff. That is mainly because we have inserted the xylographic cannula till here. Okay, and after that there is an acute bend, then we have a ductal architecture which leads to a salivary gland. Okay, you can visualize the beautiful architecture of the duct as well as the submandibular salivary gland. Okay, so if there is any tumor or any pathology, even in 3D reconstructed image, you can have a fair idea about the destruction which has been present. Okay, and this one mainly we use to orient ourselves. Sometimes when we examine each and every slices, we'll get confused slightly where exactly we are. So to find that, we can always see the 3D reconstructed image. When I'm moving this slice, you can see in all the 4 sections it has been moving. Okay, tangential, cross-sectional, axial, as well as the 3D reconstructed one. But 3D is the one which clearly tells us exactly where we are looking at. Okay, so that's all about 3D xylography. This is just an introduction about 3D xylography image, mainly which has been done by us at Diagnox. So I just put forward this video mainly to introduce you to the xylography which has been done with the CBCT, because I couldn't find any video in the YouTube which clearly tells about the CBCT xylography. So in future we'll upload more cases in CBCT xylography so that we can discuss more about it more pathologically, and let's improve our knowledge by that. Thank you so much. I hope you like this video, and kindly like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.